Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request, this time for Jerp pin. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And Jerp pin was nice to send a generous request for me to do a commentary on the 1983 film Of Unknown Origin. And just because I'm battling a bit of insomnia, can't sleep, it's like 5 in the morning, so I figured, you know what, let's do this. Get to watch a good film, thanks to Jerp pin. Anyone wants to request anything, links are down below in the info box. PayPal is usually the best bet. Pause at the beginning. 3, 2, 1. Pressing play. Now for singing, we got the old Warner Brothers logo, the old-fashioned logo. Now this came out the year I was born, 1983, and it's directed by George P. Cosmatos. You see there, who would go on to direct. Some people say not really direct. Rambo First Blood Part 2 and Cobra. People say Stallone really directed them. And then Kurt Russell called Stallone DZ wanted director that was just kind of be there for Tombstone. But I mean, I looked at the way George Cosmatos directed this film. I looked at the way he directed Leviathan, another Peter Weller movie, which I love Leviathan. I love this movie. So George Cosmatos has to have some type of talent to him. You know, Stallone, you want to do all these interviews? Sit there and actually talk about George Cosmatos and what really happened. I would love to know that. Now we have Peter Weller here, years before he would do RoboCop, among others. We have the son here getting all the food out for the Special K. We have a beautiful lady here, based on the book The Visitor, which I've never read the book, so I don't know how close it is to the book or not. I remember the first time I saw this film, it had to have been between the years 2002 and 2005, because that's when I was in a different part of Texas. I was in San Marcos, and I remember vividly that there was a store called Hastings nearby. This store had all sorts of stuff to rent. I mean, huge store where you could buy movies, buy CDs. People would sell movie CDs, and you know they would store would buy them to sell them, and tons of movies to rent. I mean, to the point that you could even rent the Rambo cartoon on DVD. And then I had a VHS at the time, and I had VCR. I should say I had a VCR at the time, and I would look at the videotapes, and one of them was Of Unknown Origin. And I'm sitting there going, what the hell is this movie? Because you look at the cover, and the title is very hazy as to what it could be. This is a monster movie? It's a creature feature? It's Peter Weller? You know, I love Leviathan, I love RoboCop. Let's see what this is about. And I'm going, okay, I'm thinking it's going to be like a monster movie, and I'm like, it's about a rat? But then I see the way how it's directed. This is a very well-directed movie, the interesting point of view shots. Peter Weller given, to me, one of his better performances, and underrated performances, because this film is underrated. No one ever talks about this movie, but this is a nice gem of a film. So glad. As much crap as I give Scream Factory, Shout Factory, I am glad that they have put films like this out on Blu-ray. I really am. And there's a couple features. There's some features from the older DVD. One's a commentary from Peter Weller. One's a commentary from George P. Cosmatos. There's a couple new interviews. Sadly, no new interviews with Peter Weller. And then the setup here is his wife and kid are going to go on this trip. He's staying behind because he's going to have the place to himself, but he's also going to be working because he's hoping to get the opportunity to get this big promotion. And you see that, he's a loving father, he's a loving son. It's not the typical, he's a workaholic, he doesn't pay attention to his family, he ignores his family, they're fighting, their marriage is on the rocks, he's an alcoholic. Like, they don't go to any of those typical things. Is that, no, he's doing fine. He's got a nice place, he's doing fine, he's going to work. A typical, not blue collar, but you see here how he's like fixing the painting, he's making sure everything's clean, make sure everything is right, the right decorum. Like his son was messing up the rug. Hey, come on, kid, don't mess up the rug. But he's not yelling at him, he's not being mean, he's not being rude. He's like, hey, come on, kid, don't mess up the rug. But you still make him a guy that you could tell very much cares about the material world, the way he dresses, the way how tidy his house is, his place is, the business world. But make it where he's not just a complete just douchebag in the typical sort. And then throughout the film, this one big crazy inconvenience, this rat that seems like of unknown origin, because it's not just your typical, this seems more than typical, and there's never an explanation as to why this rat behaves this way, but you could come up with your own thought process on it. And in a weird way, by doing this, he becomes, in a way, a better man, because it becomes, in a way, a Moby Dick fable, a Moby Dick tale, where, I mean, there's even a clear reference to Moby Dick in the movie. It's him more and more and more making this thing his obsession, to the point that his work is not being done. He can't focus on it. He's only thinking about this problem with this rat. He's doing research on it. During this big dinner, the only thing he could think of is all these statistics and facts that he thought of it. And then it's like, what, fuck the materialism. What matters is, this is my domain. In the domain. This is my domain. I need to defeat this thing in a man versus nature fashion. And the way I look at it, see, you're like right there. He like picks the little thread off the woman. Details. Now it's like he's down, he's dirty, he's making a big fucking bat with nails in it. And he's like, I'm just going to wreck everything. I'm going to wreck my place, because it doesn't matter. And for me, the crux of it was, he has that nightmare. He has the nightmare of his wife coming home and being attacked by the rat. His son coming home, because all this stuff's around, that the son actually puts rat poison, because he's an idiot. I mean, because he didn't notice. So all this stuff, it's a realization, his family is what matters to him, not the material shit. That's why at the very end, the wife is like, what about the luggage? And he's like, fuck the luggage. I think that's like, fuck the luggage. Because he wrecked the place The materialism doesn't matter. The corporate world, if it happens, it happens. He comes out, he's hugging his wife, he's talking to his kid. That's what matters to him the most. And then they didn't have to go to the typical melodramatic soap opera. Again, we're getting ready to have a divorce. We're getting ready. It's just, this is a guy that's working his job, working his elements here, but just to be part of this battle that mostly takes place in this one apartment. And it's not a one-man show, but a lot of it hinders on Peter Weller, and he does a great job. And you get these small hints from here to, these small things as a gradual build-up. Until you get to this big finale where, again, he's dressed up in his gear, and he's got this headlamp, he's got, again, a bat with fucking metal mouse traps that you chop your hand off and fucking nails in it. But you have to work up to that. And it certainly does. And the movie's like an hour and 20-some minutes long. Here's where the little things start to happen. His dishwasher. And step by step, making this guy lose it. And in a way, you can kind of sympathize, understand his plight, where, see, this stuff here, like, you don't get a good look at, you get these little snippets, what the fuck? And again, these little POV shots. And see the little inner workings of this creature, this rat. It gives it a bit more style, a little bit more flair than your just typical movie. But yeah, it was one of those things where, actually I'll get to that in a minute. This guy here is a guy that Peter Weller will talk to from time to time. Yeah, this guy. From time to time, he'll talk to this guy throughout it. And almost in a weird way, by the end, they kind of switch roles where, this guy's talking about rats, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. And it's not that he seems crazy, but he seems like, okay, a bit more upfront about stuff. And then literally by the end, things have switched where he's looking at Peter Weller and going, I can't even say 2 words to this guy. I better just mosey on back to where I'm at. See, here he's like, oh, you don't want to get your hands dirty, huh? Okay. But he has a quite different demeanor to Peter Weller by the end of the film. But I do like this actor. I forget the actor's name. I think he's one of the guys interviewed on this Blu-ray. I believe so. But I was going to say, when I rented it and I looked at the cover, and also if you look at the trailer, in a way it almost seemed as if this was a haunted house movie. I mean, the cover makes it seem like a creature feature, but if you watch the trailer, you would not, I would not be surprised if some people saw the trailer and thought this was a haunted house movie. Because, you had, the Amityville Horror a few years before, and a lot of those sequels, and these other haunted house type of movies. But I guess it's one of those that, hey, we want to be a bit... We don't want to just flat out say, hey, by the way, this is a killer rat movie. And I can't even say killer because it doesn't kill any persons. It kills a cat, but it doesn't kill any people. But it just sort of this gradual breakdown of this guy and his psychology. And of course, it's not lost on me that, you know, he's dealing with this rat, and then the irony is that he's technically in the rat race of the business end. And Peter Weller, I mean, he's definitely had, I guess you'd call it an interesting career. I can't remember the first film he did. I know he had done films like Firstborn, and again, this movie was '83. And then you get into the '80s, like he had the Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. Of course, he had RoboCop in '87. That definitely shook things up for his career. And then you had, what was it? You had Shakedown with him and Sam Elliott. You had Leviathan, which again is a personal favorite of mine. You had RoboCop 2. You had Naked Lunch. You had a series of other films. Like there's one I have over there. Didn't really love it, but it's a film called Sunset Grill, I believe. Streamers. I mean, really enough, it seems like the ones that were the best for him were really enough ones that dealt with the sci-fi, or I wouldn't call it sci-fi, but the horror sci-fi, like that element. Again, this one, RoboCop, Leviathan, Buckaroo Banzai, Streamers, and of course later it'd be what, Star Trek Into Darkness. And it seems like lately he's a bit more willing to talk about projects, probably because of money. But hey, he's probably not going to get as many jobs nowadays. But hey, money. Because I know he's on that RoboCop documentary. On a side note, what kind of pissed me off was that he was advertised to be on that In Search of Tomorrow documentary to talk about Leviathan, because those assholes put the clips on YouTube, and then by certain ways I was able to look at the documentary and flip through it. It's not fucking in there. They don't talk about Leviathan in that fucking documentary. Because you see a little snippet online and you think, okay, what more is he going to say? Where's the whole thing? It's very brief, like a minute or less, but I'm like, you know, people, you know, I don't really care about being celebrities. I never did. But I would say, like, one of the few. Because I've heard, you know, you hear around that Peter Weller's a bit of a surly guy, and I don't know if he's the nicest guy, but I'd probably take the chance just to ask him about Leviathan. When was the last time he's seen the film? How does he feel about the film? All sorts of stuff. Just like if I had a chance to talk with Mark Senior, I would ask him about Watchers 2. And, you know, there's maybe a few people here and there. I have no way to do it, but anyway. Everyone was asking about RoboCop. I'd be like, I'd be the guy to ask about Leviathan. And maybe even a little bit of this movie, but mainly Leviathan. Because at least in this, he has a commentary track. You're spending 20% of your time thinking about him, but he's spending 100% of the time thinking about you and how to outsmart you. He's got nothing better to do. And yeah, he comes off as a bit of a quirky character, but a fun character as well. Harris starts affecting his work. He's taking an early lunch. He's thinking, well, yeah, of course I'm smarter than this thing. I'll outwit this thing, and this thing just keeps getting by him. Keeps dismantling his place, his home, his domain, step by step. And it seems like no matter what he does, this thing has an answer for it. For example, like, okay, here's his mail. Just destroys fucking mail. If the stuff was sent to him, or important documents, like later on, there's some. It wasn't like a check as well. Like he left a check for someone and it took the fucking check. I look at these mouse traps. Like these are. I don't know what kind of mouse traps. I mean, I guess mouse traps were. I mean, we saw regular mouse traps. Now he's got these fucking metal things. I don't even know like where the fuck you would buy those type of like mini bear traps. And we see the power here. But I guess, I mean, more state-of-the-art mouse traps, he could afford it. Watch him weep, you furry fucker. That's the thing, this thing... It's a she, because you find out it's a mother, because all the babies, but... And this already reminds me of, like, Roy Scheider and Jaws, when he's flipping through the book and all the sharks, and even, you know, the sharks and the way how sharks have injured people. Like the up close of sharks, Roy Scheider's look up the, you know, and here and the injuries. Now he's looking at the injuries people have gotten from rats. Which, I mean, rats are not anything to fuck around with. Yeah. Makes me wonder if these are like real photos they got of these rat injuries. Of unknown origin. There's the title, of unknown origin. I mean, you talk about how the film's not realistic. I don't think people are going to see this, though, for a fucking documentary. But here you get to see more of the obsession starting. And this sort of fill in the details of the audience of just how dangerous these things can become. Just like you would kind of see a bit of this in Jaws and others about talking about Richard Dreyfuss's character talking about sharks. And this footage here about, you know, them killing each other, eating their own tails, all that stuff. Eating babies. Ew. It's filling his head up with paranoia. Filling his head up with... I mean, you can't say paranoia because it's actually happened, but just the obsession is growing more and more and more. And again, that's what made me, again, liking the actor, liking the way it's shot, where you could see the rat's point of view within the walls, a little bit different photography. And I see that stuff, I'm like, George Cosmatos has to have a bit of talent with the way this film's made. See right there, he's all about the details, and now he messed up his tie. He's losing the focus. He's losing the focus. And the people down there are like rats in a maze, running around. And also you got the pressure of work and this deal going on, and then home you want to relax and you can't relax because everything's going on, and again it builds gradually throughout all this. Is that even a term people can use anymore? Is Orientals? And yeah, it's just one of those things is that that was a term you would hear from time to time in the 80s, but it seems like if you try to do that now, it'd be deemed racist. Now, the guy at the head of the table who's talking with Peter Weller, character's name, what, Elliot? I believe that's Lawrence Dane. Not this guy, but the guy at the head table, the boss. It's Lawrence Dane was in this film. Yeah, there you go, that guy there with the glasses, the head guy. He was in a film called Rituals, which is a very underrated film with Hal Holbrook. It's a Canadian film in the vein of Deliverance, but I actually like it a lot more than Deliverance. I have it. Yeah, I got it right there. You can't see it, but I got it right there, the Blu-ray. Again, very good film. It seemed like it was a lost film for a while. And then, like, if you could find it, it was, like, rough quality. You could barely see it, but it did finally eventually get a Blu-ray. But yeah, Rituals is about a couple doctors that go out into the woods for a vacation, and then they're hunted down by this deranged man. And I don't know, just the way it was shot, the atmosphere, the music, just the whole environment and Hal Holbrook's performance. Anyway, it's a really good one. But yeah, this is where Peter Wells telling the statistics and facts about rats because he's just so obsessed with this thing. And just seeing how all the little factoids of the rats, and more so of that obsession. Because he just, he's going to have to be dealing with this thing more and more. I mean, like, we have like we're already like a third of the way in because it's an hour and 20 some minutes and we have an hour left. Like, it's an hour and 29. We're 27, actually, yeah, about 28 minutes left. So, yeah, we're literally like a third of the way through. And this kind of, this scene here, in a way, maybe this is like the end of the first act. The fact of just telling this whole thing during lunch, and the obsession has heavily begun. And then we get to the traps here, and it did not give a shit about your upgraded traps. He just can't understand it, just can't get out of his head of what the fuck, how it could have happened. And there's the rat screeching, still out there. I love these type of shots inside the air ducts. It gives life to the creature without having to show it all the time. And it's pretty cool photography to show the inside of it, again, the air, the tunnels, the vents, all that stuff. And you gotta think that he's there, he probably can't be sleeping that well. Kind of like me. But it's not a rat, thankfully. And then just sort of this thing of everything he does, it just doesn't work out. God, look at those old school phones. Granted, it's not the phone where you do da 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 5, da 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 4, da da 5. Like that guy, I swear that's the guy from Meatballs and My Bloody Valentine. Maybe I'm wrong, but I swear that's the guy who had the hot dog contest and Meatballs with Bill Murray, and then he had some facial hair in My Bloody Valentine, and the killer put the nail gun, some nails into his head. I think that's the guy. I could be wrong. Because I think this was a Canadian production. And it seems like that guy worked a lot in Canadian films. Because, like, My Bloody Valentine was one. I don't know about Meatballs, but... I know some of these other actors, like these support roles, I know I've seen them before. Pop like a balloon. You get in his way and he'll go right through you. So again, he lists all this stuff and they still don't work, you know. There's just something more to this fucking thing. And it's a shame. Like, this is a film that you really hear nobody talk about this film. Nobody. I can't think of the last, I guess, other than when the Blu-ray came out. Other than that, I can't think of a single person that ever talks about this movie. But like I say, ever since I first saw it back in... It's like I say, it was between 2002, 2003 to 2005 or so. So, there you go. Now we got the pillows. Again, systematically breaking down his place. The dishwasher, his mail, now the pillows. Later on, it's going to be, you know, through all the cereal and flour. I mean, he's getting some sleep, but he's not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Yeah. This is a fear anyone could easily have. I thought this was a good jump scare. There you go. Just with editing, because obviously they didn't have the rat in the toilet. It's just there's up goes a rat. Him just screaming. Now, did he really see? It makes me wonder. Did he? Yeah, I would see with that the rat was in there. You see him go through the water. He escaped. I mean, imagine that. Like, you're in your home, and you can't even be 100% sure of safe of going to the bathroom. Makes me wonder how it takes a number 2. Like, if you saw a rat in your toilet, would you ever think of going to the fucking number 2 ever again? Now it's the electricity. Which, I mean, they do like to chew, and they do fuck up your wires. And also, this film does have a sense of humor to it as well. Like the previous line, I know friends in Jersey. There you go, Moby Dick, right there. I mean, maybe a bit on the nose, but it's still there. Only, was it Ahab? Captain Ahab pretty much got himself killed. not the case here. A rat will go through your eyes to eat your brain. Did he say great out get contacts? Something like that. Now he's telling a story about an army of rats attacking people in the subway. And Peter Will is just freaking more out about this. But yeah, I thought the film really goes at a good pace, and it's just interesting to see this guy's journey of just taking care of this thing. And I guess you don't find him in the boiler room. More than likely, yeah. Yeah, pretty much throughout the film, you see him get more and more disheveled, more and more untidy, more and more just losing it. And people think, oh, it's because, you know, he can't handle the pressure of this, but it's this other thing. They're right. I don't know why he couldn't just tell him what's going on. I have this infestation that won't go away. You would think it wouldn't be that ridiculous of a notion, but it's like, if you think it's so ridiculous, come to my apartment and stay 1 or 2 nights, then you'll fucking find out. Here's all the stuff, like all the food. I mean, okay, I don't know how that's specifically like, thankfully, but once in a blue moon, you know, you have a problem with ants. This is pretty much the rat just laugh at him as his shit's just falling right on his head. All that food is fucked up now. Well, he's got his rubber gloves. I mean, you say he already got his fucking food by going through all your food. Well, again, the guy did say it probably was in the boiler room. He's right. Because I think this is the first time he gets truly attacked by it. And he got scared with the toilet. Which again still makes me wonder how the fuck he takes a dump. Maybe he goes like, I don't know. Maybe he waits until work and goes at work. Maybe. If he could hold it. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, the model of his place. And then lo and behold, at the end, where does the rat hide? In this place here, this model of the house. Just like how the rats take over the real house, he's now inside this little house. And just like how Peter Will's character just don't give a fuck about the state of his real place, he just completely demolishes this house. It's like, I don't give a shit And that's the limit he had to go to. He had to just literally go back to the barbaric nature of thinking about you, concentrating about you 100%, being gun ho, not being cautious, like literally just having to be more vicious than the animal. Okay, I thought this came later, but yeah, the babies. Rat babies. Yep, it is a female. Yeah, this is when he gets attacked and the babies go down the drain, I guess. Great, how you want to put it. Yeah, the mama don't like her babies. There you go. There you go. I mean, you can tell that that's like a puppet, but they do it pretty quick. I mean, you can tell it's like a hand puppet or something, but I didn't wait on to get a real rat. So at least it's very brief. And now that her babies are dead, now it's going to be even more pissed. I like that George Cosmatos looked at the grate again to remind the audience her babies are dead. Now he's going to be more pissed. So I mean, he's doing well at the jobs in a way, but as the guy Lawrence Dane says, I don't know if you're going to survive your celebration, so to speak. Another thing, the boss doesn't come off as the typical monster, one-dimensional guy. He's like, I'm still behind. Hey, if you can't do this, I might have to get someone else. But hey, I'm still behind you, kiddo. I'm still, So again, they didn't make him like the like I said, one-dimensional, mustache twirling villain of a boss. This is we get. I don't know if you say the first inclination of her having the hots for him, and maybe just maybe there'd be some kind of cheating, flirtatious thing, but in a weird way, fucking rat saved his marriage in a way. I mean, his white marriage was, I mean, in a way protected it from him sabotaging his own marriage. You sure you don't want to warn her not to touch anything? If you put poison all around the rat poison, it's like, yeah, I want to make sure you don't fucking touch it and get the poison in your veins, so to speak, you would think. Make sure it don't fucking happen. So I guess this is sort of an inclination that maybe the marriage isn't as happy as you think. But then which, I mean, this leads to much later on where he literally yells out, "Leave us alone!" Because he's not there yet. He's just not there yet. You have to break him down more and more and more. This poor cat. I mean, in real life, I mean, you know, the cat's being handled well. It just, you know, what happens to it? You see, the cat had a fight with the rat, and the rat won. But how the rat was able to drag this fucking cat's body all the way up to where we find it or something? So I'm not yawning because of the movie. I'm yawning because it's probably like almost 6 o'clock now in the morning. This poor cat. Like, that's a pretty cool shot. You have the rat in the foreground and the cat walking by in the background. Again, is like, okay, what can we do with this rat storyline? Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, find a way where exterminators doesn't work, where poison doesn't work, mouse traps don't work, cats don't work. Like, anything this guy does, it just doesn't work. I guess other than moving, which is not the easiest thing to do. I mean, it's easy to say move, but in the real world, it's not that easy to do. Especially when you have a wife and a kid. And there's still that part you think it's just a rat. It's just one fucking rat. You know, it's not Cenobites. You know, it's not Jason Voorhees. It's not an army of critters or ghoulies or hobgoblins or fucking aliens of any other sort. You know, fucking rat. I've been around. I've been to college, man. I've tried dope. Just want to know who you're dealing with. See, yeah, I like these little shots of the guy with the rat. I didn't to really kind of heighten its, I don't know what you want to call it, just to heighten its stature in a way without having to fully just show it, just sticking around. This is where you're using the real rat, which makes sense because it'd have the real movements, the real stuff to it. Now this is the first of the dreams. You know, what if he doesn't get this solved? What if he doesn't get this settled? What if he doesn't get this fixed? And his son has a birthday and then this happens. You know, thinking about his family, thinking about his kid, thinking, you know, and he's even in his kid's room. This guy with so much pressure and not be able to sleep, he's going to get these type of thoughts into him. What the fuck am I supposed to do? And this fucking thing still tailing and trailing around. Like I said, just not. See if I get any info about the film on here with this phone. But gotta wait for the phone to start. There you go. Did a little bit of 360. I'm trying to go to sleep. I mean, good point to put all the books there. Oh, it doesn't really work out. Yeah, this poor cat. Like, this is a cool looking shot. You know, in between the bed, near the bed springs. That's a cool bit of camera work there. I do like that quite a bit. And just, again, just the idea of just, you're just trying to sleep and this thing just gets in your fucking bed. In a weird way, I think people can relate to this. If it's not a rat, then think of a bug, a spider, a cockroach, anything in between. And there'll be more of that later. I think this is where he finds the cat dead. Oh, there you go. And just jumps right on there and yeah, I think in a way, people have could feel this experience again. Maybe not everybody, but I'm sure there's some people. It's like you feel something jump on you in the bed. You're like, what the fuck? And you're just in this frenzy state. You just want to desperately find it wherever you can, and don't want to stop until you do. 6.1 IMDb, 63% Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, that's way too low. You're just losing it, just losing it. This fucking thing, man. Yeah, so much for getting any sleep. Yeah, I know coming up that's where he's going to find the dead cat. Thing that he's going to be getting to the fridge here soon. And the rat's like, I left a present for you. Yeah, right here. You want some strawberry with your milk? Jesus. Now, how the hell the rat got into the fucking stereo to rip up the check? I'm surprised he's like, let me stop by before work. I'll just give you the. Well, I guess I don't. You don't pay the guy before he gets there, but hell, I'm surprised he didn't leave the check with the key outside. So it seems like the rat doesn't want to go outside. The first lead starring role in the film or TV production by actor Peter Wells, so this was his first starring role. Debut cinema movie of actress Shannon Tweed, who plays his wife. Miss November 1981 for Playboy magazine. The film won 2 awards at the Paris Film Festival. Best Actor Award for Peter Weller and the prestigious Grand Prix Award for the film's director George B. Cosmatos. Let's see. This movie was originally released in a longer version according to Rating the Movies. If so, that's interesting because I've never. I don't know that if that's the case, that version has never been out and released. The marketing for the film was quite misleading. The posters and taglines made it seem as if the rat was a supernatural creature out to kill the Hughes family, and all trailers were carefully edited to remove anything showing or mentioning the rat. It was made to appear to be a film about a family being terrorized by a supernatural force similar to Poltergeist. But you know, yeah, Poltergeist in '82 was a pretty substantial hit. At one point, a 36-inch long, 4-pound rat was found in a Foot Locker shoe shop, dead, in the Bronx, New York. Go figure. Interesting. So this came out November 23rd, 1983 in the U.S. Only made $1.1 million. Co-production between Canada and the United States. Now there's Moby Dick yet again. Okay, so let me look at some of these other cast members. So Kenneth Welsh, one of the people at the job, he was the vice president in The Day After Tomorrow. He was a senator in Time Cop. I do love this bit. I did war. I hate you. Don't tell me I didn't hit you. I did. Maury Chaykin, another one who was at the job. Kind of the one being a little bit of a dick. Saying, oh, he's not going to make it, all that stuff. Okay, I know I recognized him. He was a computer programmer in War Games, the Matthew Broderick film. Let's see. A lot of TV work. My cousin Twins. Yeah, he was in Twins, The Master of Zorro. Louis Del Grande. I think that's the guy who is friendly and is giving him all the tips about the rats. He was the first Stanner in Stanners. I think he actually does talk about that in the interview, I believe. This film, Happy Birthday to Me, is the surgeon. This film, he was in Speed Zone. Oh, the one that wanted to be like Cannonball Run with John Candy, Peter Boyle, Tim Matheson, Lee Van Cleef, Eugene Levy. Not that great. Keith Knight, the hardware salesman. Yep, that was him from Meatballs and My Bloody Valentine. Keith Knight was the actor's name. Yep, and he was Canadian actor. He was in a lot of those movies. So there you go. And of course, Lawrence Dane as the boss, Elliot. He passed away in 2022. Yeah, he was in Rituals. Happy Birthday to Me. That's right, he was in that. Darkman 2. The screenplay is based on the 1979 novel The Visitor. Screenwriter Brian Taggart was hired by executive producer Pierre David to adapt the novel. Taggart had previously written the slasher film Visiting Hours. He based Peter Weller's character on his own stepfather, whom he described as being obsessed with cleanliness and order. He devised a title based on a Webster Dictionary definition of rat, which denoted the species as being of unknown origin. Director George P. Cosmatos convinced Peter Weller to star in the film, which he pitched as a survival story. The ambition of the guy with his job draws comparisons to the guy who's trying to kill this rat at the expense of his house. The theme of it all is to survive at all costs. Photography began in 1982 of November in Montreal with a few days of shooting locations in New York City. Majority was shot at a 7,000 square foot set recreating the interior of a Manhattan brownstone, created by production designer Ann Pritchard. Majority of the film was shot in sequence, so that the set could be systematically maimed as the story progressed. It was given a limited regional release in Fresno, California. Yeah, we're trying to see how much, like how many theaters. Yeah, it debuted at number 14, and it was in 199 theaters. 199 theaters, probably not much for promotion. So, no one knows who Peter Weller is really at this point. 199 theaters. Trailers just make it seem like a kind of a, again, is this like Poltergeist? Like, what is this movie? Not much advertisement other than that. Writer Stephen King is a fan of of an Unknown Origin is named as one of his favorite films. Kevin Thomas at LA Times, a visual tour de force. It's a fast, taut, darkly comic enough not to seem preposterous. It takes on the credibility of a nightmare. As a result, it's amazingly well sustained. I agree with Kevin Thomas. I know that guy also has said a lot of good things about some Van Damme movies too. Like he was one of those critics that, in his heyday, said like, he was a Van Damme fan, which is nice. Yeah, it seemed, yeah, figure that would happen. That's why you should not have left your shit there, man. Should not have left your shit there. All this important shit that you had to do, of course. Of course it destroyed it. Of course, why would it not? Yeah, and this is when he's finally going to, as the guy said before, concentrate 100% on that. And right here, again, it's less about, there you go, how I put it, he's gonna about getting this thing done. He's not dressed in his suit. He's not tidy. He's not, concentrating on the job. At the beginning, he was so upset that, wait, you gave this guy it? Now he's like, I don't give a shit. Now he's like, I don't get this done. Please let me know when my wife is, ready to talk. Maybe there was footage shot more with the wife, and maybe there was supposed to be a bit more about the marriage crumbling apart, and that was cut out. I don't know. If it was, I wouldn't be surprised. Hope you fried your ass. Not quite. Oh yeah, this is when his hand gets hurt because it moved the trap. He's like, where the fuck is it? And yeah, I will admit, once in a while, Peter Wells' character does do some dumb stuff. Like, don't just be flailing your hand around. I mean, it's a fucking trap. What do you expect was going to happen? Like, just flailing your hand around without looking. There you go. Like, you don't just flail your hand around like that. Like, come on, with that type of trap, you're just baiting for trouble. So, there are times the character does do some stupid stuff, but, I mean, I forgive it because with what he's been through, we all make mistakes. We all do stupid shit. And it's a survival story. Yeah. Where it's less about the job, and if he doesn't get the job, doesn't get the promotion, doesn't care anymore. That's realizes that's not really important in these circumstances. I do wonder, like, how many people go up to Peter Weller, and I guarantee most of the time he's asked about, again, RoboCop, and then probably Buckaroo Banzai. But I just have a feeling people rarely ever talk to him about Leviathan or this movie. Cause, so I would be that guy. Whiskey, is that the same that R.J. McCready drank in John Carpenter's The Thing? Or something different? I thought that was a nice bit of transition. Here we go. This is sort of the... Not quite, I wouldn't say wake-up call, but I thought this is a very important bit of business here. His fear. I think this really cemented to me why, at this point, he's so obsessed with this. It's a survival story, but we'll look what happens here. It's him, dazed, and kid not realizing he's putting fucking poison in it. His wife being attacked. Shannon Tweed, I mean, Playboy Playmate, I can definitely see it. I could definitely fucking see it. Absolutely. Oh shit. Absolutely. And there's this fucking kid don't know how to read fucking poison shit. The X's are not just Pirates of the fucking Caribbean or whatever, kid. Fucking idiot. Doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Fucking moron, dumbass. Natural selection. Get him the fuck out then. There you go. There you go. Yeah. That's when I was watching this film, I was just like, wow, this really is like a war between these two things. It really is this war. It's not afraid to go amp it up as the movie goes along. Like these attacks and things of that nature, and then you get to, again, the big battle at the end. Of course he fuck up the phone, why wouldn't he? I think even Peter Weller says, I think he has the line coming up. So again, I don't know if this. She looks at her wedding. She looks at her wedding ring, and it makes me want that maybe there was a bit more of their marriage wasn't as fortified as you thought. Thus, it makes me wonder if there was some footage cut out to just center more on this battle between these two, which I can understand doing that. And I mean, her looking at her wedding ring, probably thinking this guy, is my husband cheating on me, and that's why the phone, but not quite. I remember watching this first time, like, what the fuck? What's this rat going to do next? Two weeks. So they add this little bit of here where So after this ordeal, like he's gonna be fine with his job because he don't have 2 more weeks, and now that he's more relaxed, he's probably like, I still don't care about my family more, but you know, he's not gonna have to worry about this fucking thing. Here we go. Leave us alone. In a weird way, kind of saying, stop eyeball fucking me, lady. I'm not going to cheat with you. And this is where you get the final fucking. Now he's all ready for war. I mean, how many times do you have the hero put fucking nails in a damn bat and metal mousetrap from hell segments? Talk about a bat from hell. And you know, I'm watching this the first time going, oh my god, what the fuck is he making? But sincerely loving it. I'm like, oh shit. It's just, I didn't expect it. I just said, oh, geez, it'll be more mundane, bland, boring. I'm like, no. And to me, Rise of the Edge, to me, I don't think this is campy. I don't think this is silly or stuff. I mean, I can see why people would think that, but it just, to me, it's walking that edge of dire straits, man. Just gotta, you know, dire straits. What else is he gonna do? What else is he gonna fucking do? He's like, I'm tired. I'm tired of this shit. I'm gonna have this fucking taken care of one way or fucking another. With a good old 1, 2, boom. Now that's a fucking weapon. And this is what I'm talking about earlier, the turn. Like, it's like they've switched places. And he's got, like, nothing to say. Earlier he's like, oh, you're afraid to get your hands dirty? Now it's like, yep, okay, nope. Nah. And then now he's ready for battle. I mean, it is like ridiculous, but at the same time, man, I sincerely love it too. How it goes full tilt with the ending here. I mean, all that's missing is explosive to blow part of the fucking house up. Bombs and shit like this. But it's like it worked up to it. Now just time to go to war. And George Cosmatos has passed away. Like I said, it seems like a lot of people don't have a lot of nice things. Maybe Peter Weller. Maybe Peter Weller would be like one of the few people that would maybe have some nice things to say about George Cosmatos. But yeah, he had done a film called The Shadow Conspiracy, which I heard like he was sick or he was pretty much dying, how you want to put it, and so it's one of the many reasons why that film just went to the shitter, and he died pretty soon after. I forget, like before the film came out, I can't remember, but it became his last film with Charlie Sheen and Linda Hamilton, Donald Sutherland. Pretty lame film, The Shadow Conspiracy. When they're trying to do all those White House thrillers, Absolute Power, Clint Eastwood, Murder at 1600, Wesley Snipes, which I do quite like that one. But see, now you see he's just destroying every bit of the house. It doesn't matter. He's gung-ho about this. He can't hold back. He's like, no, I'm not going to hold back because this guy's going to keep running, and I'm going to try to... Now, you've been doing this to me. Now I don't give a fuck. And I'm going to go for... full tilt for you is, but... What you've been doing to me the entire movie, I'm going to do to you now. You've been on the attack. Now I'm on the attack. Now he's trying to retaliate, but now it's like, nope, I'm on the attack, motherfucker. For the chunk of the movie, you've been chasing me. Now I'm going to chase you. And the material don't fucking matter. Breaking the mirrors, breaking the shit don't matter. It's just... get this one fucking thing done. What's that thing that's like hooked onto the bat at the end? It's like a yellow something. See, that he's like doing is like a samurai sword. I mean, talk about like a true fucking battle. It's like he fucked the piano, fucked everything. It doesn't matter. Just goes through the whole fucking... like this... it does feel like a big fucking battle. Although, man, it would take a shitload of money to fix this place up. But maybe it would be cheaper to move. But yeah, it will take a shitload of money to fix this place up. Holy shit. Especially this whole fucking flooding here. Could you just imagine how much fucking money this would be to fix this place up? Maybe, again, maybe it would be cheaper just to fucking move. Maybe that's what happened. If you got the promotion, all this stuff, maybe they would move into a different, better place with no fucking psychotic rats. But look at that, just pouring down. There goes more of the pipes, there goes more of the fucking water. This rat fucked with RoboCop. Fucked with the wrong guy. You drove him to this rat. You drove him to this insanity. Now you dug up the grave. Now you're gonna live in it. It's your own damn fault. Your own fucking fault, rat. Your own fucking fault. You stupid idiot. I'm throwing right over there somewhat. It's like, get the fuck off of me. God damn you. You son of a bitch. You some bitch. Oh shit. Ah, there you go. Wrecking everything. And then some. See, like he wrecked the real house and he's wrecking this house. Like, not subtle, but destroying the house led to destroying the rat. He destroyed his real house, which led to him down here. And again, this finally fuck the materialism, fuck the what in this war is what truly mattered, and now he killed the thing. And he's got evidence there, so if people think he's crazy, the evidence is right there. And all that remains of this place. Which is why he does this one thing with the vase. It's like, fuck it, why not? Just don't matter. This shit ain't important. This shit just isn't important. And what convenient timing that his family gets home. Hugs and kisses her. It says again this realization of this is what matters to him the most. There you go. Fuck the luggage. He's the master of his domain. I had a party. And there you go. The creature's dead. The movie is over. His work, they mentioned the whole 2 weeks thing, so they dotted that I. He said leave us alone, so that girl will leave him alone and not no kissy face anymore. Cross the T there. People don't believe in him. He's got the rat in the fucking basement. There's evidence right then and there. There you go. So, 120 some minutes long. Pretty quick. Short movie. And underrated. Underrated film. Still holds up to me. Still quite enjoy. I love the camera work. Seeing the inner workings. The way they made the rat really become this other thing in a way. Showing it behind glass. Behind all these different ways of showing it. Peter Weller did a great job. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Did not need to be 2.5 hours long. And this is, survival story. They need to have it be a take on materialism, a take on what really matters in life. Maybe some people feel that maybe you could showcase a bit more that his bears on the rocks. On one hand, that could be more typical, stereotypical, but maybe for some it would be further showcasing even more. If you see him visually, he's not appreciating his family as he should, but then you see more so. I don't know. I mean, to me, I think they give you enough little nuggets that things maybe were on the rocks without, again, having to take 20 minutes to deviate from that, from the main story here. And I think this is the same year as Cujo came out. 1983. Which definitely became much more successful. That was with a dog. Here's a rat. But, yeah, underrated film. I still don't think it gets really the respect it deserves. Like, if you look at the features, you have the audio. George B. Cosmatos and actor Peter Weller. They're not in the same room, but it's like Peter will talk, then George will talk. Writer Brian Taggart, producer Pierre David, actor Louis Del Grande, and some trailers. I think mainly the one trailer. And yeah, if you look at the trailer, it does make it seem as if it's a supernatural force. I mean, you do see a little bit of a rat up close. But also, maybe, it could be like a supernatural thing as well. I think mainly it's the end where the this light goes over the house and this beacon of light shoots out of a known origin. And it's like, okay, is this some kind of demon thing? So, and a still gallery, huh? I haven't really looked at the still. I mean, just, you know, pictures of the. It's all just 2 minutes 54 seconds. It's like a slideshow on its own. You don't flip through it by itself. I mean, it does it by itself. You don't manually look through it. It just plays by itself. The ones I like in these is like the posters. If it can't steer them to death, it will find another way. And yeah, you look at the cover, I mean, if it can't steer them to death, it will find another way. You look at the poster, which you guys can see over here, it could be a fucking werewolf movie for all I know. In fact, maybe that's what I thought. Maybe at first I thought it was a werewolf film or something. I mean, but I do like the poster, though. I do think it's a cool looking poster. Apparently the cat likes it too. And there's one that's like just a foot of a rat. One has a lot of good reviews. See if I can read them from here with my glasses. A scary realistic nightmare from WRTV New York. So it did get some good reviews. Kevin Thomas at LA Times. I mentioned that. Rex Reed. The audience was genuinely terrified. There are many streams along the way. The technical effects are superb. KNXT or something, TV LA, comes up with a sense of strangely fascinating terror. Well-made film. It is a well-made film. Box Office Magazine. Cosmatos has used such style and subtlety that the suspense rarely lets up. Hollywood Reporter, a sharp psychological horror story. Director has expertly crafted a psychological crack-up in an evocative visual style. Let's see, Victoria Times columnist. The premise in this top provocative thriller is believable. What happens here could happen to anyone. Well, I mean, that's debatable. The Province, Vancouver. The frighteningly real tale of a man forced into mortal combat with a natural terror, a suspense gem. That's funny, there's an overseas poster where it's like a rat on a naked lady's back. That definitely sells a different type of movie. So, there you go. So, I mean, not a lot of features. And George Cosmatos has passed away. Peter Weller, I guess, at this point, he wouldn't do interviews for anything. Which, I mean, does piss me off. Because, you know, we had Leviathan Blu-ray come out. We have Unknown Origin. Like, he'll do interviews for whatever the fuck. Like, he'll do interviews for Unknown. That whatever the fuck that In Search of Tomorrow where he was interviewed, but then they show little clips on YouTube and it's not in the fucking documentary, so I don't know what the fuck happened to the rest of the footage or what the hell. Because I guarantee you he said more than just 4 things. But he's willing to talk about the film on there, but Leviathan gets a Blu-ray, nothing with him. What about the 4K? There ain't gonna be shit on the 4K with that shit. Come on. If the 4K even happens, Leviathan. No interviews on this movie with him. Nothing on streamers. It's like if it's Buckaroo Bonds or Robocop, fine. Anything else, fuck it, I guess. But what can you do? So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Thanks once again, Jerp Pin. Later.